In this video we're going to be creating the round column for activity 1, 2, 3 multi-view drawings. So in order to get started with that, we're going to click on new component, and then the component name we'll call round column, and we'll say OK. So it'll make the component active, which allows us to create a new sketch, and I'm going to choose the top plane, which is going to be the one that's facing in the same direction as the top face on our view cube. So I can go ahead and click on that, and from the create menu I'm going to choose under rectangle, and I'm going to choose the center rectangle, and when I click on that it allows me to place the center point, which I'm going to choose the origin as the center point, and I'm going to draw out to make the shape. From here I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on sketch dimension, and choosing this line, this is going to be 1.125, and then choosing this dimension 1.125. So that'll set us a square base here for our round column. And I'm going to go ahead and choose finish sketch, clicking on the home button on the view cube. Then I can go ahead and extrude. The extrusion height of this is going to be 0.375. I can hit enter. Now I can go ahead and click on create sketch again, and go ahead and click on the top face of the shape that I just extruded. Using the center diameter circle, I'll click on the origin to set the center, and I can draw the circle out, choose the sketch dimension, and the diameter of this is going to be 0.625. Then I can say finish sketch. The extrusion height on this, as I choose the circle, is going to be 2.75. So I zoom out a little bit, and I can go ahead and say OK. And then I'm going to create a new sketch on top of the cylinder that I just extruded. From here I'm going to create another center point rectangle, choosing the center, and then what I'm going to do actually is, rather than dimension this, is I can actually grab the corner of the previous square that I created in the last one, and when I click, it's going to go ahead and make this automatically constrained. So now I can go ahead and finish the sketch. Now I can go ahead and when I extrude, I will need to click two profiles. So I'll need to click this one, so this will extrude up, but I also need to click the circle to be able to fill in both. And that's going to be 0.375 for my extrusion height. And I'm going to go ahead and say OK. So there gets the majority of the column. The only thing we have left is to be able to put a hole that goes down right through the center of our column. So I'm going to say create sketch. I'm going to click the top face of our column like so. Choose center diameter circle. I'm going to choose the origin, and then you don't want to snap to the outside edge. You actually want to go just a little bit smaller, and then I can go ahead and dimension this to be 0.375. I can finish the sketch now. I'm going to extrude, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select the circle, and I'm going to drag the arrow to go all the way down, and I'm going to change the distance to be through all, so then that way it goes all the way down to the bottom, and we can see that in the preview. And I'm going to go ahead and say OK. So this will finish up the round column as far as the modeling. I am going to modify the appearance, and most of our 3D printed parts are going to be, for the column, are red, so I'm going to drag a red color on there. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit the save button, and we'll call this round column. Okay, to finish out, I'm going to go ahead and go to File, New Drawing from Design. Again, I'm going to make sure the IED title block is shown under the template, and I'm going to say OK. And that's going to load us into the drawing workspace. So now when I get ready is I can now click on base view. I can place my column. Right now it's at a half scale. We'll see if a 1:1 scale will work for us. This might work. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click, and then I'm going to go ahead and say OK. Now I'm going to double click on this view. I'm going to change the style over to visible and hidden edges, so I should see the hidden lines going through for the whole. And then I'm going to go up here to projected view to get my other views. So I'm going to click on the front view, and then above it I'll click to place a top view. I can go over here to the right side to place a right side view, and then I can place an isometric view and click the green check mark. Now, one of the things that we'll see is we've got a pretty symmetrical part. Two of these views look exactly the same. So in a lot of cases, you would not need to go through and put in both of these views. So I'm actually going to right click, and I'm going to delete this right side view. And if I need to, I can select the view and say OK. So really all I need for this is just these two views. And then I'm going to go ahead and change the style by double clicking on the isometric view and choosing shaded. So we always want to shade our isometric views. And there's only a couple other things that I need to add in. So, and before we finish up this drawing, one is I need to go up here to find a center mark. So if I click center mark, all I have to do is click on the hole that I have set there. And then I need the center line. So if I click the center line, all I got to do is click the first edge. So I'm going to choose the hidden line, and I'm going to choose the second hidden line, which is the second edge, and that's going to put a center line right down the center for this part. And I can right click and say OK to get off of the menu, the tool, to stop placing center lines. And now I can go ahead and do, and this will finish out our drawing. So I can go ahead and hit save. So it'll call it round column drawing. Hit the save button. And then once we have that, we can always export the PDF, choose all sheets, saying OK. And now this brings up a save dialog box that allows us to save what we have there. And this completes the round column construction block for activity 1, 2, 3.